guys, I'm Aleesha here, and this is.
Danielle.
And we are the She's of STEM. Now, this is our first ever episode, so I'm just going to give it to Danielle to just explain a bit and give you a bit of insight of what She's of STEM actually is.
Woo, I'm so excited that we're finally doing this. This is going to
Yes.
be epic. Woo! So, the She's of STEM is a podcast series that will be discussing women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics because that's what STEM stands for.
Mm-hmm.
We will be discussing women's issues, current events, and how they pertain to STEM, how we can change the scientific culture, and talk about the amazing people who are already doing that.
Yes, that is exactly what we're doing, and I'm already so excited for it because we have so many things that we have to discuss. We're both passionate about STEM, and we're both literally on the same kind of path. We do know the same things, and we have like the same kind of platform. So I think it's best that we kind of like give the people an insight of who we are, what we do, and like why we're actually doing this in the first place. So I'm Alicia, as I've said before, and I'm currently studying chemical engineering. I'm in my final year, and I wanted to create a platform which is STEM Girls, just to just because I noticed a gap where people around me, people in my class, and just everywhere, I didn't really see any girls and any young girls as well. And it actually first started because I love revising through YouTube and I love watching maths videos on YouTube. So
Yeah.
me and a couple mates were like going through YouTube and we all noticed where they're all old and they're all male. So we were just like, this can't be right. There has to be some girls and some girls that are similar to our age, even if they're like 30s or in their 40s, or even that actually like maths and actually like engineering and actually like science. And that's why I was just like, I like maths, I like science, I like those subjects.
Snaps for that.
Maybe I should just create my own platform where I show those kind of things and I talk about my life and my degree and what I'm doing right now. So that's what it started. What about you, Danielle?
Yeah, so that's awesome. Like, you saw the problem and then
Yeah.
you're like, screw it. I'm making my own platform. I'm starting it myself. Like, if no one
Yeah.
else is gonna do it, I'm going to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of where Make Them Mainstream came about too. It took a lot of forms. So it started out really as an idea for a book where I was just going to compile a bunch of advice from other females in STEM and
Mhm.
specifically engineering because I'm a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
I graduated about a year ago now. Wow, that's
Woo.
crazy. Yeah. And I got my minor in math. And
Mhm.
it was like, I started compiling these stories my last year in college and was just like, like this needs to get out there. And I just
Yeah.
wish that, these stories were told and that we knew about these women who came before us.
Mhm.
And then it turned into a YouTube channel. And then so I, learned all about that. And then it turned into Make Them Mainstream and the website that it is today. So Make Them
Yeah.
Mainstream is all about supporting and celebrating females in STEM through tutoring and STEM education. Now, the females in STEM part makes sense because I'm a female in STEM.
Yeah.
Um, but the tutoring is because I've been a tutor for over 13 years and I started like back in eighth grade, and it was
Mhm.
just
That's a long time.
it's a long time, and it's weird. Like I've been a tutor for over a decade. It's like
Yeah,
I'm
that is
old.
because you're not. I was just gonna say it's because you're not old and you've been touring so long.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, but when you say like a decade, you're like, ew, I'm old.
yeah,
But I'm only 23, so.
yeah.
And so it was just like,
Same.
let's take my love for tutoring and my love
Hmm.
for engineering and math and like my advocacy for being a female in STEM and marry those two platforms and bring them to light. And so on Make Them Mainstream, we share stories about females in STEM. So you can look at these stories and be like, hey, if she can do it, then so can I.
Yeah, definitely.
And like you're saying, like not have like just old men, just like,
Yeah.
and
Not
not
just
just,
have one type of person, just it's literally just one type.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's not true, because the more I put myself out there, the more people like you that I've met, like there are other females, there are other girls, and it's so like it warms my heart when I see like people like you and like people out there, and I'm just like, yes.
Right, though, like you feel like, thank God I'm not
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Like being the only woman in the room or one of the only females in the room, it can be intimidating, it can be
Yeah.
lonely, and it's just like, where are all my girls at? I realized that before starting Make Them Mainstream, like I love my boys and I love my guy friends, but like
Yeah.
I didn't have really any girlfriends, and the girlfriends
Mhm.
that I did have we're all so independent, and like we don't need to spend every waking moment with each other.
Mhm.
But because of that independence, it's like we go off and do our own things, and it's hard to come back and reconnect. And
Mhm.
so it's just like finding other women who are like-minded, who are in the same field as you, and being like, hey, remember me? Like I exist, and I could use a
Mhm.
little, like
Yeah.
encouragement or some love, or just whatever, just to
Yeah,
like reach
definitely.
out.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel the same way, where there are girls, and in chemical engineering, it has been pretty mixed, but I feel like once I get out there, once I got into work, or even before, like during my college and high school years, I wasn't really exposed to engineering. It never really occurred to me. So for me, engineering was very last minute. Like it was just
Yeah.
like a spur of the moment. It was just, I literally found out before we had to apply. I had no idea that I didn't even consider that I could go into engineering, because I always like brushed it off as a more of a guy subject, and I feel like I'm a girly girl, so I felt like those two probably wouldn't like make a
Go
good mix.
together.
Yeah, but then it was literally a last minute, because I didn't really know what to do,
Uh-huh.
and the more I did my degree, the more I fell in love with it, and the more I enjoyed it, and the more I was just like, this is actually pretty good, and it doesn't matter that it it didn't feel like I was meant to do it, if you get what I'm saying, before I
Yeah.
applied. But I was just like, I could have missed out on like a big opportunity if I just didn't take that leap. And there's probably so many girls out there that just brush it off like I did, and just do something else, or go into another career path, or don't even consider it
Mm-hmm.
as a career path, which is why I feel like this podcast is so important, because we can discuss issues, and we can discuss the experiences that we went through, and we
Right.
can like hopefully maybe someone younger or someone else could see it and then be motivated, or just it's just something like it's something different out there, so it's a different form of girl, yeah, representation of engineering.
Right, exactly. And I there's so many things that you just said that I want to talk about. So I'm just trying to decide on which one do I
We
go on,
have
which
like
one do
a
I
lot.
say first.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll pick like the engineering portion, like that you didn't know that you could be an engineer. I would like to say that even my third year in college, I still didn't really know what an engineer was and like what they did. And I, people will ask me all the time, like, "Oh, you're an engineer. That's so cool." Um, like, and then they'll be like, "Well, what is an engineer?" And even people who are in STEM, even people who are in other engineering fields, like they don't know what specific engineers do, or like even a biologist, like I
Yeah.
don't really know what they do, or like a marine biologist, I don't really know what they do, or like
Yeah.
how they go about their work. And it's just that exposure and getting that out there. So again, like you said, this podcast I think is going to be super important, not only to be like, hey, there's girls here, and we love and support you and want to celebrate you, and we want to get your story out.
Yeah.
But also to talk about like what the hell is science and tech
Yeah.
and engineering and math. Because the way I fell into engineering was, well, my family kind of always knew that I was going to be an engineer because I've always been tinkering and building things and taking stuff apart.
Yeah.
But I was very girly as well.
Mm-hmm.
I did ballet. I'm a classically trained ballerina. You know, I did that since I was 5 to 16. And then I went through this phase where I was like, I'm kind of more of a tomboy. I'm kind of girly. Like, I don't know how to do my hair, or like paint my nails, or like do the stereotypical girl things.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like that I wasn't really feminine, which is, I know it's like insane.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of made me feel a little bit more at home in engineering. But like, so my family knew that I wanted to be an engineer, and I didn't know what that was. Like you said, like no one's talking about it.
No.
So I actually went into college as a math major, and realized that I didn't just want to be in
Doing
a
math.
think tank or like be a teacher or be an accountant, because again, no one really talks about what you can do as a mathematician.
Yeah.
And I have my minor in math, and I honestly could tell you, like, I don't really still know like what mathematicians do, you know, because I'm not immersed in that world so much anymore. But I didn't fall in love with math until my senior year. And that's what made me apply to go into school as math. And then I got there, I realized, you know, I didn't really want to do that. And so I switched into engineering, ended up falling in love with it, just like you said, with chemical engineering. And yeah, it was just like everything I wanted it to be. I wish there was a little bit more hands-on stuff, but that's just the school that I went to. But all the theory and like everything was just, oh my God, it was so insane.
Yeah, it's a lot more. There's a lot more to it. Because before when I went, I didn't actually expect it to be that hands on, and I thought there'd just be so many equations that I'd have to solve and so many problems that I'd have to solve.
Yeah.
But it's actually a lot more. With my course, it was a lot more varied. So we had we had to code on some software that was. There's some modules with that. There's obviously labs and experiments that we have to do. I still have to do because I'm in my final year. So for my project, I still have to conduct a lot of experiments, and so it has a bit of chemistry as well in it.
Right.
And it's a lot more diverse than I thought, and it's a lot more varied than I'd expect at first, because I just expected it to be really like solving problems and that sort of stuff. So I didn't really know what to expect when I entered it. So I was like, whoa, there's actually like a lot to engineering. And I bet it's the same for like all these other STEM degrees as well, that people brush off and say like they're really one dimensional, and there's like you have to be a certain type of way, or you actually use quite a lot of skills. And you even like we even had to work in group projects, we even had to present. So it's varied. It's not like the bookworm can only exceed. You do use a lot of skills. You use a lot of social skills. You talk to different people. You have to present as well. You use math skills, written skills. We have to write a lot as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people were like, wait, what? We have to write in engineering? And like, I was like, hell yeah, I really enjoy writing.
I enjoy writing. Yeah, you have to write a lot as well, like literally pages of like, and it's
of explaining your designs and documenting, you know, and explaining yourself on your
and you
equations,
have to like,
and what you write.
Yeah, we had to like draw diagrams and images, and so it's very diverse. And a lot of people don't realize that, because they just think it's one dimensional and it's one thing. And the thing with STEM subjects is you can actually go into so many things that people don't even realize as well.
Yes.
Yeah, like with maths, you say, I'm sure with maths there's a range of things that you wouldn't even imagine but it's not out there, and it's not even like the universities, it's not really. I don't know who like. I don't even know who you can go to ask for help. Like it's that kind
Right.
of thing.
Yeah, and I don't know either. And I that yeah, just like talking about it and getting out there, like, you know, these things exist, and it's not just one dimensional, like you
Yeah.
said. One thing that I really always press on people when I'm talking to them is I love the creative aspect. I'm
Mhm.
I'm very equal, like, side of my brains are working at the same time. I'm very right
Yeah.
brained and I'm very left brained. So that means I'm very analytical and I'm very creative. And
Mhm.
it just, I found that the STEM fields really had
It catered to both sides.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, it had both sides because I could make my lists and I could make my equations and I could, you know, plug in numbers and get out answers and like make that puzzle and solve those problems. But also, I
Mhm.
could create those equations. I got to
Yeah.
discover why they existed, and I got to design and like use my creative brain when I'm creating products or in projects or, you know, talking with people and being like, okay, well, how do I effectively communicate with them so they understand what I mean and I understand what they mean. And it really is just this whole collaboration of all skills, I feel like,
Yeah.
when you're in STEM,
Yeah.
especially with the way the world is changing, right? Like,
Mhm.
when you go to apply for a STEM job, they already assume you got the degree. They already assume
Yeah.
you have all the skills. So now what they're looking for is, do you play well with others?
Yeah.
Can
Do you
you
have like the
collaborate?
social skills? Can you collaborate? Can you
Yes.
speak well? Can you get on with others? Can you present your ideas
Yes.
eloquently? So it is a lot more that meets the eye. There's a lot more range to it.
Yeah.
Um, I think we should tell our listeners how we actually met as
Okay,
well.
yeah, that sounds great. You want to go
So
first?
yeah, you contacted me first on Twitter. So we actually met through Twitter. Oh, if anyone doesn't
Social
know, I'm
media is the
from
best.
yeah. If anyone doesn't know, I'm from England and she's from the States. So we're actually like on the other side of the world, and
Yeah.
that's why we're on Skype talking. But yeah, so you contact me on Twitter, and you actually featured me in a blog post on your
Mhm.
website
Yeah.
on STEM sites that you should check out. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then after that, I looked through your page, and you seemed, well, you are, but like really passionate about STEM and all of that. And like I was just like, it'll be really interesting to just to get to know you and talk to you. And I was doing my own little thing, like a YouTube podcast series as well on my channel, STEM Girls.
Which is amazing. You need to all go
uh,
check that out.
thank you. Thank you. And
Yeah.
then when we got talking, I was just like, whoa, like we actually got a thing going on. Like
Mhm.
we talk and it's effortless, it's easy, and we actually have a lot of ideas and discussions to talk about, and we have a lot of different topics. So I was just like, why don't we collaborate, and why don't
Yeah.
we make something of it?
Yeah, and then yeah, so she interviewed me for one of her podcasts and it just turned into all of this that you're
Yeah.
listening to right now and that you're going to continue to listen to in the future of the She's of STEM. And I'm so excited that to collaborate with Aleesha, just like
Thank you. Yeah,
when we
same here.
when she first started talking to me, like in the podcast, like, she was so professional. And
Oh,
then it just went so well. And it was my first ever podcast and interview. And it was just like, I felt like I'd been doing it forever just because
yeah,
she
same.
made it feel that way. And then we ended up talking for like at least 40 minutes after that.
Yeah.
And the She's of STEM was born.
Yeah.
So that is what we're bringing for you today. And I hope that our episode today kind of brought you to a little bit of light to what we're going to be talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, hopefully it gave a little bit of insight to the dynamic of it, like what the issues that we're gonna talk about, and what we're gonna delve into. It'll be a weekly thing, and yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We can't wait to have you guys tune in and send us your questions and the discussion topics that you want to talk about, tune in next week where we're going to be talking about augmented reality and why it's important for education.
And that's it, folks.
All right. Have a great day, you guys. Or night, depending on which side of the world you're on. So we got UK to USA. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.